Welcome back to Euro Football Daily and to our new show where we give you the statistical breakdown on Europe's biggest talking points. Today we're looking at FC Barcelona, who following the sacking of Ernesto Valverde and appointment of Quique Setién are going through their first stylistic shift in almost 3 years. As a new decade gets underway, it's clear the Blaugrana are making moves to return to the playing philosophy instilled by Pep Guardiola over 10 years ago. But with the old guard aging out and Real Madrid looking like a force once again, marrying a return to more attack-minded football with the continued collection of silverware is a big ask, at least in the short term. In many respects, it feels like the Catalan club are at a crossroads. They are just months away from starting a €685 million renovation of the Camp Nou, have their first presidential election in 6 years coming up in 2021, and on the pitch are close to fully transitioning out of the most iconic era in their history. Meanwhile, the club is in the process of healing some wounds. Despite winning 3 of the last 4 La Liga titles and Copas del Rey, an increasingly demanding fan base has grown ever more frustrated at the perceived lack of progress on the field. And there is some truth to this. The side's tally of 87 points in the 2018-19 campaign was their joint lowest in 10 years, with their 90 goals scored their worst total in the league since 2008. Add to this a manager in Valverde who shunned the playing philosophy of Cruyff and Guardiola, so dear to the Blaugrana faithful, 2 of the most humiliating European defeats in the club's history, and some of the most wasteful spending ever seen in the transfer market, and it's clear that change is needed. So how does the club go about regaining its identity as well as its place at the top of the European game? Let's find out. The Setién effect. Since Quique Setién was hired as Barcelona coach on a 2.5-year contract, opinion on his appointment has predictably been split among the football fan community. Even here at EFD, although we have praised his work with Real Betis in the past, we also have reservations over the decision to bring him into the Blaugrana setup midway through a season in which there is still everything to play for. And he wasn't even the hierarchy's first choice. In fact, Setién was 4th on the list, with Mauricio Pochettino, Ronald Koeman and Xavi all turning down the club's advances before he was approached. But at least stylistically, the 61-year-old may be the best fit at the Camp Nou, with his claim of being a disciple of the Cruyff philosophy reflected in his work at previous clubs. During his stint at Las Palmas, the Gran Canaria club became one of La Liga's best-loved sides, known for their expansive attacking play, which made for entertaining viewing and lots of goals at either end. La Unión Deportiva averaged 57% possession in 2016-17, meaning they saw more of the ball than Real Madrid, domestic and European champions that season. And while this didn't translate to a top-half finish for Setién, it was still mightily impressive for a club with a combined market value of €55.9 million, over 13 times less than that of Los Blancos. And perhaps the defining game of Setién's tenure at Las Palmas was a 3-3 draw away at the Bernabeu, in which Real was saved by a late Cristiano Ronaldo brace. They reduced Zidane's outfit to just 43% possession, put 8 shots on target to their 7, and Roque Mesa controlled the game, completing 78 passes to Toni Kroos's 58. And he carried on in the same vein after taking the Betis job in 2017. El Maestro implemented his high-risk approach to great effect at the Benito Villamarín, guiding Los Verde Blancos to 6th place in La Liga in his first season, the club's highest finish in 13 years. That campaign, they ranked 3rd in the league for possession and came alive in the second half of the season, with the signing of former Barcelona centre-back Marc Bartra, allowing Setién to switch to a 3-5-2 and further evolve his possession-based philosophy. Between March and May, Betis went unbeaten for 8 games, winning 7 of them and conceded just twice in that time. Other star performers that season included another former Barca man in Christian Teo, Junior Firpo, who is now a Blaugrana employee, and Fabian Ruiz, who has been continuously linked with a move to the Camp Nou since excelling over at Napoli. And Setién's most famous victory came against the Catalan Giants on their own turf in November 2018. Playing as wing-backs, Teo and Firpo ran the show, getting a goal and 3 assists between them as the Andalusians won 4-3, beating Barca in the league for the first time since 2006 and recording a first win at the Camp Nou in 2 decades. Furthermore, that season, Betis edged Valverde's side for ball retention, sustaining the highest average possession duration in the league at 28.7 seconds. But if he is to be successful with these methods in the Barcelona dugout, he will need to do it quickly to win over the club membership. One of the frontrunners for the next Barca presidency is Victor Font, who insists he will appoint Xavi as manager if he is elected. And while Setién's attacking philosophy is what made him appeal to the Culés, he will need to start from the back. Fix the defence. As we have established, Setién's sides have always been entertaining to watch, but this has come at a cost. In his first season at Betis, despite finishing 6th, his side ended the campaign with a minus goal difference, conceding 61 in total, the third worst defensive record in the entire division along with bottom place Malaga. Unsurprisingly, his Las Palmas team were even more porous, letting in 74 in 2016-17, losing a total of 7 games by 3 goals or more. In fact, the former Santander coach has never finished a top-flight campaign with a positive goal difference, and while this will surely change in a few months, Barca's defence remains a big concern going forward. The Blaugrana have already lost 4 league games in 2019-20, matching their total losses for the last 2 seasons combined, and are conceding at a rate of over a goal a game for just the second time in over 10 years. The last time they did so in 2012-13, they also scored 115 goals, their highest ever league tally at the time. And having loaned the talented Jean-Claire Todibo to Schalke, there are only 3 recognised centre-backs left in the squad, including Gerard Piqué, who is now 33, and Samuel Umtiti, who has missed 38 games through injury since the start of last season. Todibo's move to the Bundesliga also includes an option to buy for €25 million, meaning that should he succeed under David Wagner, Barca will need to reinvest again in the summer. The obvious choice would be RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano, who ranks as the #1 centre-back in the Bundesliga for passes into the final third with 6.7 per 90, and also wins 74% of his aerial duels, which beats Piqué on 71%. They'll surely face competition from Arsenal for his signature, but with a contract ending next year, the 21-year-old prodigy can be secured at a cut price. Furthermore, Setién's possession game can leave his sides open to pressure. Last season, Betis ranked top of La Liga for proportion of backward passes with 10.2%. And so it's perhaps no surprise they also conceded more shots per game from being pressed deep into their half than any other side. This shows the flip side to the Spaniards' style of play, whereby slow build-up at the back can leave the defence vulnerable to the press. And as we saw in the recent loss to Valencia, this can also sometimes serve to blunt the side's attack. The Messi problem. One of the main criticisms aimed at Ernesto Valverde during his time at Barcelona was that his more conservative approach often left the team over-reliant on Lionel Messi to continually produce magic in order to win games. In 2018-19, the Argentinian's 49 goals and assists accounted for 54% of the side's total output in La Liga, and was also his biggest contribution in 4 years, despite ranking 6th in the squad for minutes played. And this has hardly changed this season. Messi leads the squad by far in shots and dribbles per 90, and is also the only member of the squad creating more than 2 chances a game. Meanwhile, Barca currently ranks 6th in the league for shots per match, below Atletico Madrid and Osasuna, a damning reflection of the late Valverde era. But this is hardly going to change overnight, and that Valencia match is a case in point. Barca outshot their hosts at the Mestalla 14-8, but less than half of them came from inside the box, and Messi alone had 11 attempts, with a well-drilled Los Che defence limiting him to less than 1 expected goal for his efforts. The Blaugrana's evolution into a possession-based side under Setién was also there for all to see, but despite enjoying 74% of the ball and completing 800 passes in total, they still finished the game with less XG than their hosts. They created almost nothing for the first 60 minutes, racking up just 0.27 expected goals compared to Valencia's 1.3 before Arturo Vidal replaced Artur towards the hour mark. And the Brazilian midfielder's performance was indicative of the side's fortunes. Despite sustaining a 100% pass completion rate, he completed 0 dribbles and didn't create a single chance, a display which was reflected by his partner Frenkie de Jong. At current, it looks like hogging the ball has given opposition defences the licence to sit back and soak up pressure, giving Barca's forwards, and in particular Messi, less space to operate in the final third, which threatens to make them just as feeble an attacking force as they were in the final months of Valverde. The club have gone in hard for a centre-forward during the January window in Luis Suarez's absence, and a move for Inter Milan's Lautaro Martinez will surely come in the summer, with the 22-year-old, who is contributing to a goal every 124 minutes, expected to cost the Blaugrana in excess of €100 million. But considering Setién's tactical versatility, after all, he put out Betis in 10 different formations last term, we'd expect him to work something out. The safest option could be to revert back to the 4-3-3 used by Valverde this term, as he did for the 5-0 win over Leganes in the Copa del Rey, allowing Messi, Antoine Griezmann and Ansu Fati to interchange up top, with a more combative midfield of Busquets, De Jong and Vidal behind them. But if he wants to stick with his preferred 3-5-2, he desperately needs to generate more creativity from midfield, and the tools simply aren't there right now. Against Valencia, Jordi Alba was the only player in the middle five to record a key pass, and the right wing-back position remains a problem, with Ousmane Dembele out injured, Nelson Semedo limited going forward, and Fati struggling in the role. Come the summer, and Emerson, who he signed for Betis last January, could be the perfect option. The 21-year-old Brazilian has contributed to 8 goals from right-back this term, just as well then that Barca already part-own him. Meanwhile, the best candidate to slot into the central attacking position taken up by Lo Celso last term at Betis is on loan at Bayern Munich. We wouldn't be surprised if Setién insists on bringing Coutinho back to the Camp Nou in the summer and play him alongside Messi behind Griezmann. In the long term, we can also expect to see him phase out Busquets and place De Jong in the orchestrator role, and do the same with Alba and Firpo on the left. If these objectives are fulfilled, we should see Barcelona regain their attacking potency, all while looking very much like a Setién side. So that was our breakdown of what Barcelona need to do to return to their former glory, but we didn't even have time to go that deep. For example, we didn't cover their transfer policy in that much detail, so if you want to see a part 2 later down the line, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, why not click on screen right now? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to Euro Football Daily for more great stuff like this. See you later.